Okay, so welcome everybody. We're here today. I'm here with the beautiful Justine Lemos. She's going to be talking today about the power of mudras and how we can use them in our meditation practice, specifically how we can use them to up-level our intuition and amp up those vibes so that we really get into that really high vibration place where we can access our intuition and our higher self and all that inner wisdom that comes with being in the flow. So we're really excited to have Justine here today as part of IntuitionLab, and this is our annual immersion that we do for called Illuminate, where we work with awakening intuition and helping people who have not yet really figured out how to tap into their intuition to move into a place of mastery. So we feature a series of guest teachers. And we're so happy to have Justine here today. And I'm going to let you, Justine, I'm going to turn it over to you. She's coming to us today from California, and she's an amazing person. She's an amazing story. She's lived all over the world. She teaches yoga. She has her own yoga studio, and she also has a lot of amazing online offerings. So for those of you out there who are watching this replay, and you're really enjoying this online platform, there's a lot that she has to offer that you would like to check out, I'm sure. But I'll let her tell you all about that and get things rolling on the mudras. So welcome, Justine.
Thank you so much. I'm just so happy to be here with you. I got muted. Now I'm unmuted. Yeah, thank you. I'm so happy to be here with you. So my journey with mudras and with yoga, really actually my mom started practicing yoga when she was pregnant with me. And, this was many years ago. And then when I was 4, I boldly declared that I was going to be vegetarian, and I never went back. But I grew up as a dancer. And then when I went to university, I met my guru, my first guru, and whose name is Ranjana Devi. And with her, I began to study the art of classical Indian dance. And classical Indian dance, for those of you who don't know, has a whole science of mudras used in an aesthetic way in order to increase the beauty of the dance, but also to attune the subtle body, to attune the energetic body, to make it's almost like the energetic body is like the strings of a beautiful instrument. And by using the very tiny digits of the hands, of the eyes, of the whole body, we begin to tune that instrument like we would tune a sarangi, a lute, so that we get the vibration exactly right. Now we can think of this just as the nervous system of the body becoming attuned, because, our nervous system, we quite naturally have the largest number of proprioceptive pathways that come to our fingers, because we are biologically designed, the fingers and the mouth, a few other places, but we're biologically designed to be able to use our digits. And so I spent 23 years studying and performing classical Indian dance professionally. And much of this time was spent in India, studying with masters there and studying yogic philosophy, studying tantras, and also studying Ayurveda, the science of life, and studying mudras as well. And later after I finished my doctoral work, I became an Ayurvedic practitioner. So Ayurveda is the science of life. It's a form of wellness that has its origin in India. And through that study, I began to learn to take pulses, to analyze people's tongues, to analyze their voices, so that we can find the underlying causes of imbalance. And what is imbalance except for not resonating with our highest self? And one powerful method that we use in Ayurveda, in wellness, is the intuition. And so one thing that I rely on all the time as a practitioner, I don't like to say medical practitioner, as a wellness practitioner, is the deep intuition. So I'm always looking for ways that I can not only increase my own intuitive ability, but also to increase my clients and students, offer them ways so that they can up-level their own intuition. Because it's great that you want to go to your Ayurvedic practitioner or your Chinese doctor once a year, twice a year, or however many times you need to get your herbal recommendation. But how much better is it if you can go to the store, tap into your own intuition, and know exactly what food is going to be medicine for you? So I'm always working with clients, students to find and align with their highest intuition. And one way I do this is via mudras, via meditation, via yoga, and via so many different pathways. Now, the first thing that we need to remember is that doubt is the dry rot of the universe. And this is so important when we are developing our intuition, because it's so easy to get mired in doubt and to get mired in what could be, or is that my intuition or is it my mind? The first thing that I always love to impart to students is doubt is the dry rot of the universe. Don't doubt, trust, and allow. So I thought that I'd share with you before we begin the first mudra. The first practice that I'd like to share with you is a mudra, a hand gesture. And we can go on and on about the science of the fingers and how the fingers relate to the planets and how the fingers relate to the different elements and how they relate to the different doshas. But we don't really need to know all of this at an intellectual level. We simply can feel how we feel when we place the fingers, the hands in a particular way, and align with that. So the first mudra that I'd like to share with you is called Gada Mudra, and it is a mudra for releasing limiting beliefs. So I thought that we'd start there. You take your fingers like so they're going to go into the palm, and you wrap them into the palm. So you're making a fist, and you can go ahead and try this with me, and then you cross the thumbs just over each other. Yeah, perfect. Then go ahead and rest this down into your lap. Let your face soften. Allow your eyes to fall shut. Release your jaw. Soften your shoulders. And take several natural breaths. And notice how the breath is directed to the abdomen. And feel a sense of warmth and ease. As you enter your own inner sanctuary of safety, of true being. Gupta, the name of this mudra, means hidden or secret. And as we cultivate our inner sanctuary, the inner sanctuary of our being, we begin to release our identification with limiting beliefs, limiting doubts. And when we release those limiting doubts, what is left is the pure intuition, a pure knowingness and a pure being. Soften your jaw again. Notice whatever is present for you right now. And then releasing the hands, slowly begin to open the eyes. So let me know in the chat, or you can come off mute. Let me know how this felt, of what happened for you with this simple mudra.
I just want to pop in real quick. That I love that. You were speaking my language, first of all. That was so amazing. Just the energy flow just felt like a sense of connectedness, right? Like it was just all flowing. And I love that, like, going into the sanctuary and just being there with that connected feeling. How do you spell this mudra?
Sure, this is Gupta mudra. I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah, just so we know, because I think people might want to read more about that and check it out in case they can't remember how to do it in the future.
Yeah, and there's so many sources now for mudras. 10 years ago, there weren't any, especially when I started studying with my gurus. You couldn't, it's just oral transmission. And so just had to sit and memorize so many. And now there's a lot of books on mudras, and, some are very good and some I don't want to say less good, but you really let your own, trust in your own wisdom around what feels good to you, I think is the thing to say. So from my training in Ayurveda and in Ayurvedic psychology, which is called Ayurvedic spiritual counseling, we really develop the intuition, and we talk about how there are 3 key steps to developing intuition. And these are: 1, believing in intuition. So having a sense that intuition is possible. Learning to connect and listen. And then the 3rd step is simply trust and trust and trust. And so this is why I wanted to begin with that Gupta mudra, to allow us to trust and to release limiting beliefs even around our own intuition. And we talk about how intuition can really be experienced in so many different ways, like a nagging feeling or a sense that won't go away, an insight sometimes with very crystalline clarity, or a sense of knowing or truth that comes from something beyond the mind, something that comes from a different space beyond the mind. A gut feeling or a body sensation like a shiver or a tingle or a weakness even. And I think one key for intuition in general, and especially we'll begin to access the intuition more with mudras, is that usually when intuition comes through, there's no emotion to the message. That it has a sense of emotional neutrality. It simply just is. Often also the vision can come from an area of the head that's different than usual, or from outside of the head, not from where we usually register our chattering thinking mind. Sometimes if we access intuition via voice, it'll have a different quality to it, a nurturing or supportive energy. And then often it will be symbolic. We'll get our intuition in pictures and into symbolic relations. And, I also study Vedic astrology, which is very different from Western astrology. If you're familiar with it, and it uses a different zodiac. And it's in many ways more accurate than Western astrology. But there's this one branch of Vedic astrology, many, many branches. And there's this one particular branch that is called the study of Nimitta. And Nimitta is the science of omens. And so we begin to read the outside world not as not as things arising in our consciousness, but arisen from our consciousness that we then are noticing in the outside world, that gives us deeper information about the true nature of events and which events will unfold into the future. And as I was preparing for this workshop with you, or this talk with you, I was sitting and meditating, and then I opened my eyes, and I like to be conscious of what are the signs, what are the nimitta outside. And so sometimes, you'll see a particular bird, and this will give particular intuitive information, or we'll see an ant crawling, or and what I saw, and I hadn't been aware of this at all, was these beautiful cherry blossoms floated by my window. Beautiful cherry blossoms floated by my window. And this I read intuitively. And so you get the intuitive vision, and it can come from inside, it can come from outside. And then afterwards, we get to interpret the message. And we can always ask for greater guidance intuitively if we don't understand that message. And so to me, was the message of being very gentle, and to listening in this very gentle way. That in fact, when we start to try to force our intuition, and I'm really going to get into it, that we block ourselves. We block ourselves from the intuition that naturally arises. And so just be playful with the intuition, like cherry blossoms falling through the sky. So this was the nimitta, the symbolic sign that came through for the group, for anyone who's watching this afterwards or watching online, is the gentle fall of cherry blossoms. Now, when we're working with intuition, and go ahead and use the chat, let me know if there's questions. Nimitta, you spelled it perfectly. You got it. And this is a very, Jyotish or Vedic astrology is a very vast, complex system. I've been a student of it for about 9 or 10 years. But nimitta is a very esoteric aspect of it. Not many people practice or study nimitta, the science of omens. It's kind of fallen out of use, but I just find it. We'll go to do a reading, a Vedic astrology reading, and on the way we'll notice what birds are there. If someone knocks on the door in the middle of the reading, this gives us more information about the reading. So it's reading all the signs and symbols around at all times, and there is a science to it. So yeah. So the next mudra I'd like to share with you, the intuition is intimately connected, as you know, with the energy of the Ajna chakra, the third eye, the seat of wisdom. And so when we begin to work with the intuition, we want to work with the third eye chakra, the Ajna chakra, in a balanced way. When we try too hard to open these energies through mudra or through any other system, sometimes there can be side effects. And I think this is why the cherry blossoms came in. Because when we try too hard and we create too much pressure, we can start getting into headaches or eye pain or insomnia or intense dreams. So we really have to remember not to try. We really open and we allow and we receive, and trying and forcing is really counterindicated. And really, if we try and we force, it shuts the doors to our perception. Likewise, especially in a yogic sense, if we're really trying with our mudras, it creates more tension. Now, in a dance sense, we get to be very precise, but still we don't try. It's like with the mudras, my guru always said, you can begin, just start doing this for me for a moment. Do the index finger to the thumb, and then the third finger to the thumb, and the fourth finger to the thumb, and the fifth finger to the thumb. She always said, one of my gurus always said, it's like you're holding rice paper between your fingers. So you don't want it to blow away, but you also don't want it to rip. Feel that kind of quality, that there's a little pressure and the consciousness is going to the fingers, but we aren't trying too hard. So remember that just keep doing this, let the jaw be soft, that we relax as a tool of surrender. And when we're working with the sixth chakra, the more subtle we are, like those cherry blossoms floating through the sky, the more we let go, the more things that will flow and will come in. So we're going to do our second, having done this little bit of warm up, we're going to do our second mudra practice. And this is Trishula mudra, or the mudra of one of the mudras of the third eye, the Ajna chakra. So you're going to take just the thumb and you're going to clasp it over the pinky finger, like so. Let the other fingers rest wide. Trishula is it's the energy of the trident of Shiva, which relates to, if you know the yogic stories, Shiva will open his third eye, and then fire will emanate out of it. So this is Trishula. Let this rest into your lap and close your eyes. And take several long, deep breaths. Again, relax the jaw, soften your face. And let your awareness naturally center at the Ajna chakra, at the third eye. With each inhaling breath, let energy, subtle energy, gently infuse the third eye. And with each exhaling breath, your forehead, your jaw, and your face naturally soften. Inhaling gently into the third eye. Exhaling, forehead, jaw, and face soften and relax. Now, holding the mudra, or if the fingers have become tense at all, you can let the mudra relax. Move your mind up to the soft palate of the mouth, where it divots up and in. And if you like to, you can place the tongue there. And then release the tongue and release your jaw. And imagine or see or visualize a purple flame growing up inside of your skull. From the soft palate of the mouth growing upward. Unhinge your jaw and then let the flame grow to just a tiny purple blue flame right at the soft palate of your mouth. Notice any signs, any symbols, any intuition that comes through. Trust and allow. Don't doubt. If you need clarification about what came through, go ahead and ask. Go ahead and ask. Release your jaw. And slowly come back to the natural breath. And then slowly open your eyes. So what came through for you, if anything? What was there? What was your experience with this mudra? A brown cow. Uh-huh. And do you have a sense of any meaning with that?
I sensed that it meant like being strong and pushing forward on my path. He had horns, so I guess it was a bull.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Nice. Good. Yeah, really nice.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. For me, I'm going through kind of, talking about astrology. So, there's times where we have Jupiter in Western astrology, you're doing Eastern, but there's Jupiter times where we're like open and everything's happening for us and life is taking off. And then there's sort of Saturn times and we're like sort of doing our jobs, right? So what my intuition was really speaking to me right now, because I'm kind of going through a period where what came to me was it's time to just soldier on, right? Like I got this image of just soldiering on, because sometimes, we're not always in that place of growth, but I have to do the work, just keep doing that work until that next bit of momentum comes along. So yeah, it was very insightful.
Good, beautiful, yeah. And how did the mudra feel, or how did the resonance of placing the hands in this way, how did it allow for shift intuition? Did you feel anything with that?
Nikki, I wanted to ask you that first before I've been talking a lot. Did you notice a difference? Oh wait, hold on. You got muted again.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah, I don't know. I like the purple flame. That was I actually I saw the purple before you even said it. So I don't know if that was related to the mudra, the purple color.
Yeah. Yeah. Indeed. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that mudra in particular awakens the energy of the third eye, and there can be a sense of purple flame there. So I'm not surprised that you got it early.
Yeah. I also did feel a sensation in my forehead, and I don't often feel physical sensations. Yeah. So that might have been.
Yeah, it's because of placing the hand. I mean, there's really a science to it in some ways of like what's going on in the brain and what's going on in the whole nervous system and how it maps onto the body and how it maps to not only the subtle body centers, but also the physical glands, the pituitary gland and the pineal gland and the thymus gland. And so just by using it, like the fingertips and also the palate of the mouth, so the feet, also the ears, really the microcosm is everywhere. We can begin to use it like a computer keyboard. And this is almost in some ways how I think about the mudras. It's like, well, we're just creating a circuit. Mudra itself means seal or gesture, but actually a seal. So think about like stamping, not a seal like a oceanic seal, but a seal where you would stamp something with a mark. Right? And so it's creating like a battery circuit or like an electric circuit. So it does start to do stuff in the mind, which then starts to do stuff in the subtle body that then has this effect. Yeah. And so we have these more formal mudras. Yeah, did you have a question,
Yeah, I just
Kim?
wanted to ask you real quick. So do you have any tips in terms of, is there anything we should look for to know that we're doing the mudra correctly? Or as like she was saying, is there certain parts of the body you might feel energy flowing as opposed to if we don't have the right mudra, any kind of indication or reinforcement that we're doing it right?
Again, it's experiential and intuitively what feels good to you. I had a client who is also she's also a yogi, but she has a lot of trouble. So this is on a medical level, or on a physical body level. She has a lot of trouble with her downward moving flow. She has a lot of trouble with her moon cycle, and a lot of pain. And it came to her in a dream, this mudra. And, it's like, and actually in yoga and in yogic anatomy, this is the mudra for downward moving flow. It's what we call apranavata, or the wind that controls menstruation, urination, elimination, all these things, and it balances and controls. So she got the vision of this mudra, and then she's been using it, and it was exactly the right mudra for her.
Very cool.
Yeah. Each of the fingers, there's different systems, but each of the fingers relates to the 5 elements. So we can begin to create balance. We have too much dryness, we can begin to draw in more water. We have too much heat, we can draw in more water or earth in this very simple way. Then, we've been talking a little bit about astrology. Each finger has a relationship to different planets also. And so we can begin to balance the planetary influences, not just as per the days of the week, which are ruled by different planets, but also for our particular chart. And, the Vedic chart is really the map of the individual's karmas and the individual's subtle body, the individual's chakra system, and what might be more open or might have the propensity to have more, we could say more flow, and the places where we are constricted and therefore get to learn a lot of lessons. For example, people, who have experienced a great deal of instability, maybe in the childhood, they begin to develop patterns of lack and in the first chakra. And so they have less flow in the first chakra, which actually is the marker of Saturn in the Vedic astrological chart, is the energy of the first chakra. And actually all of us in our culture deal with this kind of lack of flow energy, lack of abundance energy, because the whole system is set up for us to have concerns and fears about our own natural abundance, right? That's the system that we're in. So it's quite natural. We don't get into patterns of guilt about it, but we know that everybody often needs to ground. And this the Jnana Mudra, or the Vijnana Mudra, the mudra of wisdom, it really creates a lot of air and ether. It creates a lot of spaciousness. And actually in our culture, many people really need to ground and settle. Like there is too much pressure on the nervous system. So often this kind of mudra is in some ways counterindicated. We need to come back into our bodies and come back into resonance with the embodied state and instead of trying to get out of it. And the key to intuition is often actually being in the body. Like, how does it feel to be in my body right now in this way?
So you mentioned, if you don't mind me just jumping in with another question real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
You mentioned about the elements, right? And like the dryness and bringing more water. And what would you recommend would be a good mudra to bring more water into your energy?
So the simplest would be Jala Mudra, which is the mudra for water, 4th and 5th fingers in one system. In another system, it will just be 4th finger in. But these sorts of mudras will bring in more water. And there's a whole technique to using mudras and elements to create more balance in the physiology.
And how do you spell that? You want to put that in the chat? Do you mind?
Jala.
And also how we spell the Trishula as well. Oh, that's pretty Jala. Trishula, just like you guess.
Jala means water.
Oh, okay. So then
Trishula means the trident, which relates to the energy of the third eye and the energy of the god Shiva.
Nice. I get that. Yep, Trishula. That makes sense. Great. All right. Sorry.
Which relate to the three great rivers of the subtle body, the right side channel, the left side channel, and the central channel, which in some yogic traditions they radiate from the base of the spine and end up at the third eye. And in some yogic traditions, they end up at the crown of the head. Depends upon who you ask. But they definitely relate to divine knowledge, wisdom, and intuition.
Excellent. Wonderful.
Now we have these kind of formal mudras that come out of, dance that can be very complex and can have all these different mudras that we use throughout the language of dance and throughout the language of yoga. Pataka, Tripataka, Ardapataka, Katarimuka, Katarimaka, Mayurakya, Arda Chandra, Arala, Shukatunda, Mushti, Shikara, Kapida, Katakamaka, Katakam, so on and so forth in this like beautiful way. But then I also like to use mudra or the idea of mudra in a less formal way. And that is the sensing and the movement of subtle energy, prana or chi or whatever we want to call it, in whatever tradition we want to call it. And so I'd like to offer you this practice. Just take your hands and rub them together to create a little bit of sensitivity. And then I want you to take the fingers towards your forehead and just let the body relax, but you're just going to comb the strands, like as if you would have hair around the forehead, and you're just going to gently comb out anything that is stuck. And keep the jaw relaxed and the face relaxed. Good. And when you feel some spaciousness, notice if you feel or see anything different around the forehead. Take your fourth finger on your left hand and lightly touch it to the forehead. This is a practice of nyasa or ritual touching. And you can gently begin to massage, very gently, at the center of the forehead. And then just release. You can take your palms up. Unhinge your jaw. Notice. Become open and receive. And as you're ready, and slowly begin to release and come back up to the surface. So how is that more subtle mudra for you?
I like that one a lot. I saw a beautiful like purple flower opening when I pressed my fourth finger to my forehead. So it was like a softer energy, it felt, than the first one, which was like the bowl.
That's right. Yeah, exactly right. Good. Yeah. Very, very good.
I totally agree too. That was great. Just the opening up. It's almost like you're just opening the curtains to your vision, right?
That's exactly right.
Really like that space open up. Yeah, that's a really good practice.
Yeah, we can begin to clear out a lot of the residue that begins to accumulate. The chakra centers are much misunderstood, but in some ways they function kind of like CD-ROMs that begin to accumulate too much information, and then they need to be wiped clean so that then they can begin to function in their highest or most ease-filled way. And the pituitary gland, the Ajna chakra, because we have so much impact from screens and light and all of these things that disrupt the functioning of the pituitary, can get clouded over, or it can get dampened. And so just that simple act of just clearing out the threads of the Ajna chakra can be very powerful in connecting us to our intuition.
Yeah, and Nikki, I think this might be something good for us to try when folks in the lab get blocked.
That's right.
They're not like, oh, I can't. It's not coming through. I can't get anything. I think that might be like a good like unblocking technique.
Yeah, for sure.
Remind me. We'll do that.
Okay.
Good. All right. So let's see. I have one more mudra that I'd like to share with you. But I could also offer you a guided meditation. And I think that actually is going to be more useful for us, because we kind of did a lot of mudras and we got some good sense of them. But let's go ahead and just let's meditate through the koshas and through the layers of the subtle awareness. So go ahead and get comfortable and close your eyes. And the most important thing here is to honor your experience. Whatever you experience, know that it's okay. Trust it and come into this practice with an innocent mind. We'll be focusing on the heart and on the intuition that can arise out of the spaciousness of the heart. View this as a journey that will have many steps and potentially much variety. So first, come into the physical plane. Start with the heart center. Turn your attention to the physical heart space. What does this physical area of the body feel like? Is it comfortable, or is there some physical tension in this area? Just observe whatever is there. Observe also if it changes as you attend to it. Now take the first step inward toward the center of the heart. Attend to something more subtle. Turn your attention to the energetic feel of this physical space. What energy is there? Is it warm and flowing? Is it hard? Is it dull? Does it have a stuck feel? What is the energetic sensation? Just be present with what is there, don't analyze it. Now turn your attention to the emotional level. What emotions are present here? Again, don't expect to feel love. If you feel love or joy here, then great. If you feel something else, that's also wonderful. Honor what is and know that it's serving some positive purpose. Don't think about that purpose though. Just describe the sensations of it. Take stock. Is it warm or cold, big or small, rough or smooth? Now ask what emotion or feeling is underneath this one. Take a step closer to the center of the heart and go underneath that emotion. Just be with whatever is there and feel what its qualities are. And now just keep traveling deeper within until you've gone beyond the emotional level to a finer level of feeling and experience. Now we enter into the intuitive plane. At this finer level, we can feel some expansion, some settledness. When we perceive something intuitively that feels like a yes, we feel expansion in the heart, and we can feel settledness that yes, this is in harmony. At the intuitive level, we feel this expansion, this spaciousness. Know that we are just putting our attention on the expansiveness and settledness that comes with this level. Check in with your heart. When you feel this expansiveness and peacefulness, this is a sign that the intuition is aligned with the truth. When we really know something, we have that settledness, that feeling of knowingness. This is the intuitive level. Just feel into this for a few moments. Now feel into this feeling of harmony or settledness, of knowingness, and go deeper into the core. Feel into the liveliness and the pleasantness of it. Or if you experience a void, if you go deeper into the spaciousness, you may notice some points of light like stars. Let yourself go in deeper to these. And notice what you feel as you feel into them. Is there a subtle bliss? This is the spiritual level of the heart. As we experience this more, the love and bliss become full and apparent. Allow yourself to rest here now. And then, as you're ready, this is the core of the heart. This is the gateway to our essence and our being. This is the true heart. It's always available to you. It has always been there for you. The more we experience the heart center, the more we will come to know our true self. The more intuition becomes clear, and the more we come into acceptance, peace, and love. Just let go of the mind and come to the center of the heart. Experience what is there. And then, as you're ready, slowly begin to open the eyes. Begin to stretch the body. Begin to make your journey back. So thank you, my friend. It's been delightful to be with you this afternoon. Do either of you have any questions for me or anything that I can leave you with?
Well, thank you. That was lovely.
That was very lovely.
You're welcome.
It's a great way to end the class. So yeah. Yeah, so I really appreciate you coming and sharing this information with us. There's a lot of great insights, and I love your perspective on intuition. I think it aligns a lot with the work that we do here. So
Great.
It was a nice reinforcement to hear those things coming out of somebody else's mouth instead of mine.
Sure.
So I really, I'm really glad to have you validate the work that we're doing here with your work, which is really amazing. So, so Nikki, did you have any other questions?
I'm just, I'm so blessed out. I need to journal now also on the journey I just went on.
Beautiful. Yeah, really nice. So it's been lovely to be with you guys. Anyone on the call can feel free to connect with me via my website. Have a few online programs coming up. I have a 3-month circle that's opening online in just a week or so, that meets on full moons and new moons, for manifestation and abundance and prosperity and love. We're moving through these cycles in May and June and July. That's going to be super fun. And then I do meet with clients one-on-one for Ayurveda and Ayurvedic spiritual counseling, which is more like what we've been doing today, more than fix your eczema, more fix your mind and fix your energy body, or let it, vibrate at a higher rate. I don't like fix too much. And then my teacher and I are opening a new course on Ayurveda specifically for yoga teachers. That's going to open online in the fall. That's going to be super powerful. And then my Mudra online course that's just all about the science of mudras, that will probably open, I'm thinking it's going to open right at the beginning of 2020.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, that's the same time that we're going to be launching our next round of Illuminate. So
nice.
Maybe we can get some momentum there going around this whole process of really using mudras and our intuition to up-level our lives and to reconnect and balance. It all works really nicely together. They're really nice complements.
Yeah, they are really nice complements. And often, it's I always think of the mudras as just kind of like tuning a radio dial. Like our intuition works fine without them, but sometimes we can just get a little bit more dialed in, to get a little more precise in the intuition and what's going on. And we can also use them to create change in patterns in the body where we might be stuck. For example, like I was talking about my client who got that strong Aparna Mudra come to her to help with her downward flow. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Justine. It was
so much love to you.
I'm looking forward to sharing this with everybody else in the replay. We have a lot of people interested in this, so I'm sure that this is going to help a lot of people. So thank you.
I'm so glad. All right. Very much love to you. Take care.
Thank you.
You too.
Namaste.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.